Good evening, people in the chat all over the world, wherever it is you are from. If you're from Narnia, then hello to you as well, which you're probably
Hello.
not. But nonetheless, we're all here to discuss the beginning of another Premier League season. Here we go again. And I am joined by the esteemed, the famous, world famous 2027-28 season world tour. We're going to go around the world and go into pubs all over the world and just hold a session of the good, the bad, and the ugly in a little corner of some of them pubs. And we'll see how many bars we can get barred from. But we are back. Joining me is Anthony Herbert, the rivals, the enemy for Sunday, and also Hammers Football TV, Tony, who will probably be jumping into some of the conversation. Hopefully he can stay for as long as possible. Won't be too long of a show, so hopefully it doesn't drag on. And hopefully I'll keep up to speed with the chat, so I'm not doing a budgie. With one comment per half hour per se, but yeah, big ups to Budgie. But how are we doing, guys? How we feeling?
Not too bad for us. Not too bad. I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad football's back. You know, he's got back. It's actually been quicker. It's felt quicker this season because normally when it ends, it normally drags. But for some particular reason, it feels like it's quick. I'm glad he's back. Obviously, before we went live, Tony bigged up everybody in the comments, and he wasn't live. But you know,
he started the introductions. He thought it was going.
Yeah. But, good evening, everyone. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm glad he's back, and bring on this weekend for us.
Absolutely. And speaking of weekend, it started early for football as we've got Liverpool and Bournemouth on at the moment. Quick fire score predictions on that one. What are we thinking? Liverpool season opener delight or a Bournemouth upset at Anfield on day one?
I've gone 2-1 Liverpool, but I still think that Bournemouth will actually give them a good game. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Bournemouth do this season, given that they've lost quite a few of their defensive players. Their two centre-back the centre-back partnership. One's gone to Real Madrid, the other's gone to PSG.
Yeah.
And it's really a case of what's left for them. I'm probably going to say a 3-1 to Liverpool. I think that they've gone full strength, as strong as they can probably go with this game, and hopefully it's an interesting game filled with excitement, and should be a telltale sign for the season ahead.
Yeah.
What do you make of it, Dan?
I'm in agreement with Anthony. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 myself. I think it's a bit. First game, and a little bit nervous from both teams. I mean, Liverpool's had a couple of chances, but to say Bournemouth has just gone through there and he just skied it in front of Ellison. So yeah, it's one of those. I think it's going to each are testing the water with each other. But Liverpool looks strong, but again, they've wasted a few chances in front of goal as well.
Cool stuff. So people in the chat, Matt Foster, how we doing? Big ups to Art Fuzz and Anti Herbert, and also surprise guest in Hammers Football TV. Evening at Tom Fuzz, Anthony Liverpool kickoff against the Cherries tonight. Absolutely, Brendan. And hopefully it is a banger game. Good evening to Hammers Football TV in the chat, as well as on the panel and everywhere else in all other forms that he be with us in. And Frog in a Well, good evening, Tony, panel, Togs, and all Hammers. What happens at the H?
Hammers, mate. East London, mate. Hammers.
The Hammers.
Up the Hammers.
I could say the same with Arsenal. It's like up the arse, but yeah, we don't want to go into those sort of conversations. Frog, how are you? As you are up north, I have a question. Is it true that in Yorkshire, a Jack is sort of just a way of telling Jack he is not on time? Yes. Yeah, I recommend you use that in as many professional conversations. Don't know what planet Canate is living on there. Pass to someone in the crowd. Nana. Yeah, Nana. You're good, bud. So people in.
All I want to know is how
Evening,
long has
Harry.
that bloody frog been stuck in a well? How long has he been in there for?
Judging by the picture, he seems to be quite happy where he is, so probably forever. Like a spider in a bathtub. He's tried getting out, but yeah, I think he just wears a brave face. I was on Fuzzy Stream waiting, and you're all here. Surprise! 2 hours later. Driving break. Yeah, car parking and pate and crackers. That's gone with a 3-1 to Liverpool.
Brilliant.
Saw Cockapoo sleeping in the back of a VW Lupo in the car park.
Oh god. VW Lupo.
Hi.
Good evening, words and pictures.
Hello. Good evenings to you. Hope you're well, mate. Just been listening to Steely Dan FM. Good evening all. Good evenings to you, usual suspect. Good to see you.
Usual. Terence.
Terence as well. Good to see you.
Yeah, look, there you go.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
We're well together, mate. Well, we are.
So this weekend, it already feels like title fight on a Super Sunday. Judging that all the league favourites get off to flying starts, I think a few teams pinned for dark horse seasons. A few teams perhaps predictions going in the way of another torrid season, like Manchester United 15th, a double. Go for it was so nice for everybody else in the league. You had to do it twice, But yeah, quite a few interesting games this weekend. I think, of course, the one that we are here for most notably, Man United versus Arsenal. So we'll start there, and I think the build-up for this game has been a bit of a. I think it's been a bit of a nice, refreshing one. I think from United's perspective, with the amount of people I've seen in the United camp sort of bigging this game up a little bit, like like we've got a fresh, brand new attack. We'll go into this game and we'll chase a win. We'll try and stir the pot in the Arsenal camp, and Mikel Arteta's his title charge, part 5,851, and phase 1,000,000, however many phases it takes for him to win a trophy. There's, if I'm not mistaken, is the mood in the Arsenal camp one of nervousness? There a bit of uncertainty coming into the opening of the season, Anthony?
There is, Fuzz. Be honest with you, I mean, what people's been weighing up is it's like what I said on the last show. I think with last season, I think these teams that finished bottom, low part of the table was obviously Man United. Obviously, you've got Tony's team, West Ham. Us finishing second, we didn't really compete with Liverpool, even though we were competing with them. But I mean, when you add up the points between us and them, it was just the points weren't that close as what it was between us and Man City going back. Obviously the season before that and before that one as well. But it's shaking a lot of teams up, and I've got to be honest with you, Fuzz. You've done some good deals. I'm not going to lie, and it's that sort of niggling sensation in the back of your head, thinking, I wonder what Man United is going to be like on open day of the season. Like, is it Old Trafford? Is it your ground? But I mean, you've got home advantage, but the way we are at the minute, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be very tight, and there's going to be some new players featuring on both sides. So I mean, it's a game really to look forward to.
Yeah.
Obviously, but we just want to see what obviously Arsenal can do, and if Mikel Arteta is, well, basically if he's up for it this season, because if you don't win anything, I'm sorry, your time is gone.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, with Man United this season, I think expectation is where I think both fan bases are at. And I
Yeah,
think with Man United, it's a lot more of a just don't be as, like nearly as bad as you were last season. I know there's some people who will say, "Oh, we should be going for league titles with this attack." And I'm thinking, come on, look at the midfield. We're still a polo team at the very best, holes in the midfield and everything. And it's like there's still feelings around this campaign that Man United, though it looks like it's going to be a really interesting game, and I think with this game we can say in isolation is going to be not just a tough test, an entertaining game, but more or less a one-off and perhaps not a read, an early read as to what the season's going to entail. Because I feel like there's still lots of under preparation from both clubs from the summer. Because I mean, Manchester United, I'll say right here, right now, as far as having three attackers in, fresh new attack, that solves a major problem with us last season. You know, shooting from absolutely everywhere. You would have thought that it was downtown Detroit or something. It, it's just it had no, it had nothing to it. Toothless, lack of discipline, and quite frankly, in various cases, lack of talent. Well, that's
yeah,
not the case this season. However, look at the rest of the team. Defense is, you know, we've let two players go. Nobody else is coming in. We're sort of trying to filter in a bit more sort of academy level players. Aiden Heaven's probably going to feature a lot more this season. Probably going to have Tyler Frederickson. I think he's being included a lot more. But then it's sort of like fitness wise, I feel like we could have had somebody else come in to shore up the defence a little bit more for numbers or depth. Didn't have to be a master class signing or world class signing, just somebody who's just like a steady Eddie at the back. If you get injuries, because you can't really tell with these things, you're not having to dip into the under 21s or the under 18s team to find somebody to fill in as a stopgap. Um, Midfield as well, problems of last season, midfield getting run through. I know that we've had all sorts of things going on with Baleba today, talks with us having the deal on that we're all going in for it, and now it's sort of called the interest with Brighton starts not as to be expected with Brighton. Um, they're not interested really in selling anybody like Baleba at the moment whatsoever. They're happy to just sort of lock in for the season now. But who knows? Who knows? There could be another sting in the tail with this transfer story. But I'm looking for Ineos to look at that and think that a midfield signing this season, for this season, is essential. Has to happen. So I'm intrigued to see what the focus is. Where do we go next? Who's the next target? Because if we're still going on what it is that the mainstream journalists have been saying about the priorities in terms of who are we signing first, what position, and then who do we go after that. Midfield is massive priority, huge priority for Man United. Toby Collier, one of the younger players that we had featured several times last season, is now on loan in the Championship. So there's another squad slot for somebody to come in that we need. Hopefully, it's Ineos. They make up their minds quick and they move quick. Goalkeeper, I think everyone and their dead nan knows that we need a new goalkeeper.
yeah.
Like Andre Onana. I mean, the first thing I saw when I saw a picture posted by the official account of Onana diving for a shot in training, the first comment I saw, I didn't even read the name, I just saw, for fuck's sakes. Just first comment, for fuck's sakes, and that was it. Just left it at that, short and sweet and straight to the point. And that's kind of how I think most of us are feeling in the fan base, because it's just liability settings yet again. And that if the rest of the team does well, we know we might end up getting shafted by the liability that is our goalkeeping department. Now with Arsenal, I still think that there are issues. I don't necessarily think your squad's bad for this season. I'd probably say that for what you've got in terms of your manager in Arteta, you'd want to have more as an insurance policy of, with this team, even you can't fail with this. That's kind of how I'm feeling about the Arsenal's run-in towards this season. How ready for the season is Arsenal, Anthony? How ready would you say?
I can most, but if I had to put a percentage on it, because I'll most probably see around about 80, maybe 85 at the most. That's as far as I can put it to. I mean, when you look at that Arsenal team, there's a weakness there. That weakness, I can tell you, is down that left hand side, where we've got the likes of Martinelli and obviously Trossard. I mean, obviously Trossard is obviously, as we know, is refused to sign a new contract. There's talks that is Fenerbahce, over Turkey, they're after him, after Trossard. With Martinelli, there's talks of Saudi Arabia team coming in for him. They've actually bid, believe it or not, they actually bid 70 million for him. 70 million. I forget the name of the team, but I mean, for something like that, if we've got to sell a player like Martinelli or 70 million to bring in another top quality player, then so be it. Because in all fairness, Martinelli's not top quality. He's a good player, but in all fairness, he's been very poor now for the last 2 seasons, in my opinion. And I've actually said that on shows, obviously on our show on Wednesday nights. So, so there's that one. But I think I think your new signing on the right. But I forgot his bloody name now. The one that played for Brentford. Mbeumo. Yeah, I think because he's obviously, if he starts, he's going to be down that Arsenal's left side. So that's where the weakness is there. I mean, obviously we got Skelly at left back
as well.
Yeah,
Ahmad and Mbeumo coming at your left back.
Yeah. But I mean, Skelly. I mean, he's not too bad. I do rate Skelly, even though he's a centre midfielder. But he has been doing a good job at left back. But listen, he's young. He makes mistakes. They players do at young ages. Look, when you make mistakes, is good, because when you get older and then you come up into your into your prime, you make less mistakes. So he would only get a better, he'll become a better player. But I think with that, Fuzz, I'll be honest with you. The only thing that I'm worried about the team is on that left hand side. We haven't really got the quality there. I think we're poor on that left hand side. Would I like another 1 or 2 players to come in to feature on that left hand side? Totally, yeah. I mean, I was talking about it the other day, obviously, with our star boy Saka on the right and the new player to be signed from Chelsea, Madueke. He might be able to feature out on the left, because I believe if you could play out on wide right, you can actually play out wide left as well. So it's like, they can sort of intertwine with one another and that, but we know that Mikel Arteta doesn't do that. So, but it's going to be interesting what the starting lineup is obviously going to be as well. I most probably I won't mention who I feel in a minute. You most probably come on to that later on in the show, so I won't give my starting lineup, not yet.
Yeah, we'll probably run through the expected starting 11s, but I'll get Tony's thoughts on the season preparations. I know perhaps how he feels about West Ham. Do you think any of our teams, Tony, are fully prepared for this season, or do you think that there's still many steps short?
I think out of our 3 teams, the one for me is I think Man United is more prepared than Arsenal and West Ham. West Ham are definitely bottom, and Arsenal are second when it comes to that. As much as Arsenal signed these players, I think there's a bit too much expectation to be on their shoulders for a lot of these players. And unfortunately, as you know, Anthony, your manager is one of those that will let his ego dictate more than anything else when everyone else can see that there's areas where you've got pockets that you need to really get played. Like you mentioned Trossard, you've mentioned obviously Martinelli. I mean, I did see about Trossard. I think it was either Leeds or one of the other clubs were looking to go for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he don't want to sign a contract, so you've got to play it. That's one surplus to requirement. Martinelli, as you said, his form is not great at the moment. That's carried on for, to be honest, the last 2 seasons, near enough. Absolutely neat vodka and a water bottle, words and pictures. Absolutely. After the day I've had at work, yes, most definitely. I think that when you look at Man United, yes, they've bought some good players, and they seem. I'm not saying they've turned a corner, but I think this season they're going to learn a lot from each other.
Yeah.
And it'll be the next season you'll see even a bigger improvement. So I think Man United we're going to see a different Man United when we did last season. I think they've got no choice in the matter in that respects. As for us, well, we still need a decent midfield. We are, the guys in the chat have already mentioned it. It is one of our weakest points. And if we're not careful, there's going to be certain teams that's going to capitalise on that and run us ragged. Be interesting to see who he's going to start with, because Potter said he's not going to talk. When they queried him in the press conference, he didn't want to talk about his team that he's going to pick. I'll do that later on.
Under 21s.
Yeah, basically, they'll do a job at least. So it'd be interesting to see if he goes with Mads Hermansen over Areola in that respect, between the sticks.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing that's going to be the story more than anything else used to, and that is going to be Gyökeres and Sesko. Who's going to do the better? Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
That's what I think. That's what a lot of fans are touting this game as, is who's got the better striker, because of how it used to be United linked with Gyökeres because of Amorim, and Arteta's love affair with Sesko. And that was the player he really so desperately wanted. And how, I suppose, if either one of our strikers goes off on one, the storyline with that is, the regret that the other club's going to be feeling, having chosen the other player. But I think in terms of how this game probably plays out, I'm feeling, as alluding to words and pictures comment there, with the question is, can Man U play as a team? I think there is definitely a semblance that Manchester United will be a lot more connected further up the pitch than they were last season. Because what we've seen is that there's players that have actual IQ, that have a bit more smarts about them, have their wits about them further up the pitch. So it won't look, in terms of transitional play, anywhere near as disjointed as it did last season. That's my hope, at least. So whilst Arsenal, with all of their new signings, I think we've seen it a couple of times in pre-season, where they look a little bit sluggish, like it's got to take a bit of time for them to really click into a rhythm or into gear with certain patterns, where you really see players really fit into roles per se. With Man United, I think there's a lot more focus on just how quick can you hit the opposition on the break, and how quick and direct can you make these attacks, and how much can you make stick. And I think Benjamin Sesko, given that we've got both choice of number 9s available in Sesko and Xerxes, both are fit and available for this game, I can see both players getting minutes in this game. And I think with Sesko, he'll probably start up top. I think it's just going to be interesting as to who the 2 number 10s are going to be. I imagine Matheus Cunha will feature there on the left-hand side, but will Mbeumo actually feature? Will he start on the right, or will he be a bench option? Because maybe Ahmed comes into the team, maybe Mason Mount's there, maybe Bruno starts further up the pitch, and we have a different number 6 combination. I don't know what the lineups are going to be. I think it's a bit of guesswork. As Anthony himself has said, that he's probably got an idea as to what the first starting 11 is going to be. And Graham Potter for West Ham is doing a Frodo and saying, "Oh, all right, keep your secrets." But that's kind of where we're at. at the moment with all three of our clubs, where it's I think what this game entails is I think it's just sort of a one-off thing. It's the real big question is what happens game week 2, game week 3, 4, 5, 6, and going on from there. And no, Matt Foster. Man United don't need Sterling to replace Garnacho and Sancho. That would be like getting them stuck together. It's basically them having a love child, and then that love child getting a contract to Man United.
Yeah.
Except the love child is
We
somehow
trained him
older
for
than
you,
both
Buzz.
parents.
We trained him for you for this season, Sterling. We got him up to a certain standard if he comes to you.
Well, Saints going in the game here. The referee's called both managers over, so Saints going on.
Yeah.
Slot's just kind of come off of a lunchtime meeting with the jacket he's wearing.
He wants Slot to take the free kick. Can you take it? Can you take it? Come on the pitch. They're pointing out something going on, perhaps maybe in the ground.
Yeah.
That looks like stadium security. That actually does look a bit like stadium security.
Look at the old linesman there. He's been on the res. Look at the state of him.
Yeah, I know. Bloody hell. Have they swapped together? It's actually Slot, the referee. The referee's just taken over the manager Liverpool team for this game. Jeez.
Who's got the shinier head?
Oh, well, there's no beating that guy down below us. Fuzz. Nobody beats that shine. God.
That's why I haven't got the lights on, Fuzz, because, this time of the night it'd just be blinding.
Who's got the matte forehead look now? Big ups to Jerome Smith. How we doing? Good to see you. And she's predicted Man United will win 4-0.
Evening, everyone.
Oh, I mean, I won't say no to another 8-2. I can't lie. It would be nice. Another one.
That ain't happening. That's not going to happen.
Opening game of the season.
It looks like they're unless they're having water breaks. Could it be that? Could it be that?
It could be a water break thing because it is about the sort of time that you take the first water break.
Yeah.
Especially
didn't we discuss that on the show? I think with certain water breaks and that, and the camera's gonna. I think can they interview one of the managers or both managers like during the game sort of thing?
I think
that's
half time. Half time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it might be a water break kind of thing, but other than that, what's his name? He's having the camera's panning on one Bournemouth player for some particular reason.
Where's Herbert? If we lose at Chesterfield tomorrow, there'll be a tractor protest at Tuesday's night's home game against Oldham.
Fucking hell, easy. I'm gonna give him a fucking people.
Big up, Gavin.
In a minute.
Big up, guys. Big up, Gavin. How are we doing? Unbelievable, Jeff. Dominic Calvert-Lewin 3-year deal at Leeds. Oh dear.
Don't say, oh dear, Matt. We got away with the one. We ain't got to worry about him being with us.
Hey, look, he could still join you after the first year. He could still join you after the first year. So it could still happen.
I mean, I'm just watching this game here. They're saying a bit Etatike, whatever you want to call him. At the moment, and that he needs to sort his touch out because it is
Etatike balloon touch.
I can't be saying what I was going to say.
Everyone seems to be predicting a top 6 season for Man United. I just can't see it. I think with just what we've got at the moment, definitely not top 6. But if you do get a solid midfielder and a goalkeeper that's a shot stopper, I think that does change a lot of things.
Yeah,
and I think for a lot of us, where we say Man United, they're going to be a flop this season. We seem to have, I guess, like discounted anybody else potentially having a bad season, because I think all of us, it's like Tottenham Hotspur, we're saying he's going to have a great season with like an under the radar great season for their standards, with Thomas the Frank engine.
Thomas the Frank engine. You like that name, didn't you?
Thomas the Frank engine. Choo choo, motherfucker. I feel like there's got to be some clubs that are going to actually have more disappointing seasons Surely not just Man United.
I just see the comment about Joe and also that Harry's reply. Absolutely superb.
It's top 10 as well. I mean, we'll go over league.
Too many shares in JCP.
I'd choose Sesko over Hoyland. I think everyone would. I mean, it's like with the Premier League things where you got the players saying their names or the managers saying their names. It's like Rasmus Hoyland. I don't know if you've seen his, where it's like Rasmus Hoyland. It's like he forgot what his surname was.
Who is he? Who is it?
What? Jesus Christ. When you're not, I reckon they choke it like an Old Trafford brass this season. Cunha and Mount as number 10s for United, I think, with Sesko up top. Possibly. I know that Amriam does like. Oh, was that a chance? Tame effort from Bournemouth. That should be one. I think they, like us, have off-pitch crap holding them back. Well, I know we've got the bomb squad that are sat on the touchline. Gooner's saying this year, this their year.
Oh my god! I just read that comment.
Terence. Yes, that should be an interesting game. Yeah. Within three. Evening, Ray.
Ray, to see you.
Here it comes, the Jerry Collett.
Bloody lovely summer boys totally ignored Arsenal.
And then Harry's comment.
I'm going to test you out by That's a violation, Harry. You do look a little bit like Diego Simeone there, Joanne, I must say. Gone with the short back and sides and the Western stash. Callum Wilson's mother is where are these comments going? Jesus. Grief is about who. This as much as about who has a bad season as well. Well, we'll cover that as well, actually. Who do you look at the season and think that this team is going to be a massive underperformer?
I suppose the other way of looking at it like this. Remember, we did the kind of someone asked us the question. The top three and the bottom three.
That's one.
If you look at the fact of, and I'm going to use Sunderland as the example, you got to think they spent obviously 120 million. I think they've signed someone else today. I think as well. All that money spent, and it could go the opposite way. You know what I mean?
Goal. 1-0 Liverpool. Oh, the new lad. What's his name?
Ekatike
with the goal.
I'm not surprised. Well, after seeing some of the touches, you need to do something. But it's not being funny as well. I mean, Anthony, when you look at it, you've touched the 1 billion mark now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've already spent that now, 1 billion, and we got. I'm sorry, but we got nothing to show for it. We got nothing to show for it at all.
Yeah.
And Man City has spent even less because Arteta spent more money than Pep, and look what Pep's got to show for it. And we got basically we got now full. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me as well, because as much as you got Gyökeres kind of thing, the problem there is how
expectation
on him, and how broad is his shoulders? Is he going to be able to carry that expectation and weight? Because obviously, if he slips up a couple of times, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You'll never hear the end of it, and all of a sudden, and as I've said to you before, Anthony, the way he kind of pushed himself to get this move, if the fans turn on him, which could easily happen, if it's not happening. I mean, look at Jesus, what happened there. Then it's gonna fall, and the fact of Man United getting Sesko, which apparently is Arteta's favourite, if he turns out to be the better out of the two, and if Just saying, to come up to December time, Arteta does get the old push. You know what Arteta's going to say? Well, if I sign that player, I'd still be in the job.
There'll always be an excuse. It is, but I mean, you look at it. I mean, obviously we were after both. And obviously we got Gyökeres, but I just find at this minute in time, I think Gyökeres is the better player. But you look at it in with Sesko, is he the one that's better in the long run? You know, so there is that between the two. I mean, he's only young, Sesko. I think he's only
22.
22. So
yeah. No, so I was laughing at Frog's comment.
Itchy tinky.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what it's going to be with Gyökeres, with the palaver that he's sort of gone through this summer, going into Arsenal and the way that Arsenal have received him. I think everyone's now focused on him.
Yeah.
With Benjamin Sesko, everyone's like, "Oh, we've already got our doubts with him," but he's just sort of seamlessly become like just a part of the Man United structure like that. And it's like no one's like honing in on him. It's like, oh my god, he's the like everyone's got to focus on him. Gyökeres has got that sort of shrouding focus on him that he's not really had that in his career. At Sporting, where he's the highest levels he's gone, and I think for a player in a league where yes, it's easier to score goals. I suppose he's got a knack for scoring goals in a very particular manner, in a very particular way, as to whether Arsenal create those same sort of chances for him or he converts as many of those chances. I think he needs to be a very big name player, a very big game player. And one of the things that he hasn't got going for him is his record of success or impact in very big games. And I think that could show itself to be a bit of a problem in terms of the season overall. I think you'll have a few games where he props up with some braces, maybe a hat-trick here or two. But we're looking probably the lesser teams where he'll find that where pressure's not on for Arsenal. Because that's one of the things we see over and over again with Arsenal teams under Arteta, is it if there's no pressure, they find a way that's really like comfortable style of play, various patterns and procedures that the team undergo to actually unlock defences, and it's a feel-good football. But the second pressure's on, it changes a little bit. There's things aren't as sweet. Maybe the pass isn't as crisp or the shot isn't as on target. And it's just with not just Gyökeres, but you could say with all the other signings as well. If Arsenal do have that slump that they sometimes have under Arteta, how are any of those newer players of the material to actually drag Arsenal out of that? To actually deliver when the chips are down on a rainy day. And I think Gyökeres probably is the most likeliest to do that. I think Zubimendi, in terms of a player in midfield, I think very good player, definitely from a possession standpoint. I suppose the only question really for that is Arteta and how he sets that team up.
Yeah.
And I think those players maybe finds a bit of demotivation if there's a confidence hamperer if the team management isn't quite up to scratch. So that's why I'm thinking Arsenal with their team on the new players might be a bit sluggish or a bit slow off the mark this season, given that the spine of that team has changed slightly. So the
first yellow cards coming out. Sorry to interrupt you. First yellow cards coming out. Kirkic has obviously been, he's been
typical Kirkic, but against his old club, I think he's probably Agent Kirkic today. I can't.
And he's got the privilege of a yellow card as well.
He's going to get himself sent off or something.
nothing wrong with it. Oh, why is he holding his stomach when his foot's glanced over his stomach and he's holding it as if he's fine there, look, fucking idiot.
Potter, first manager to get the boot. Will that be the case?
He could be. He could be.
I think the problem is what they can't do is fuck around like they did last time, like with the Lopetegui saga. They can't let it drag out if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
They can't drag out like they did with Lopetegui because then Potter had to come in and try and do something. And it was very, I think I already said, a couple of steps forward and then 5 steps back, kind of. And we don't want to go down that road again.
Yeah.
I mean, with the couple of players they have signed, I mean, the goalkeeper's good in that respects. Malik Diouf is going to be the one that's going to be the standout player. I mean, what this kid can do so far, what we've seen him in. Yes, rest in peace to Ryan Jackson. And the balls he can deliver in the box. Full crew should definitely like that. And maybe even Mr. Wilson as well might like it. But other than that, our midfield, there's talks of obviously Guido Rodriguez, fun like you, Anthony, he could be off to Saudi as well.
Yeah.
About 6-7 million. Alvarez could be off as well. Andy Irvine could be off about 3 point something, maybe 3 to 4 million. So they're looking to try and get rid of some players. I mean, we went for that Ferdinand player from Southampton, and Southampton rejected the 30 million offer, and we ain't going to go back in. And I'm pleased to see that we're not going to go back in like we did with bloody John Duran. We've actually said that's it. 30 million, take it or leave it, because they want 40 to 50 million for a player that's he did do well last season. I think he got like 7 goals. He's 21. They've given him the vice captaincy just to try and keep hold of him, but a team that's basically been relegated. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without Pep, Klopp, the average Premier League manager's tenure is currently 1 year and 169 days. Managers have at best 2 years and have to give player what they want and get them all to buy into it to survive. I think there is a feeling that there's a lot of clubs where managers can't really sort of stick around for a very long time before players sort of give up on it, like, same old. Doesn't feel like it's working, or don't feel like there's enough change. And perhaps that there's truth to that. Maybe there is just an underlying culture with players that managers, if they do get bored of the same old shtick, that their drop in motivation is enough to force change.
Getting in Rosa.
Alf Raid. Who is Alf?
Alfie's a young lad. I don't think where it is now. He's from.
Just a young lad.
Young lad.
Lad. Somewhere
Alpha Vicente or something. He's all right. Not bad little channel he's got.
Oh, big ups to Alf. Fair plays to him. Sullivan has sold a few pineapples in his time.
Yeah.
Big Ange will save the hammers. Well, at least you'll make your games entertaining. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but still.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Look. See, for me, as usual, I agree on that because, I think Brentford are not going to do so well. I don't think he's the right man for the job. That's for sure.
No, I think Brentford have probably made a bad judgment call in the face of having their team sort of picked and pulled apart. They have moved quick with their striker signing, though, Altara from Bournemouth, who's not a bad player. I can definitely see similarities in terms of level of quality between him and Vissa. So it'll be interesting to see how he factors in. A big break from Liverpool. Salah's cocked that one up. So, yeah. And there's a guy on YouTube, done a good satire series on Black Lace and others. Bubblegum.
His name is Alf Vivek. Yeah. Alf Vivek.
Daniel Farke 6-1. And Nuno is 9-1.
Oof. Wow.
Well, to be fair, given the type of ownership they've got there, Marinakis, if Nottingham Forest have a disappointing season, I would not be shocked if he pulls the trigger early on them.
Yeah.
I really
For these
wouldn't.
people who don't know who Alf Garnett is, if you actually look at the gentleman that's below me, right, there is a.
Oh man. Gents, I'm gonna have to shoot off from that because I'm starting to flag a little bit. I'll keep this running in the background. I'll just take myself off the camera and that, and have a great show. Everyone in the chat, don't forget, if you can, make sure you go over to Fuzzy's channel, give him a like and subscribe as always. Look after him. And unfortunately, won't be doing a watch along tomorrow because I will be working. I'm going to listen to the game in the background. But we will be back on Sunday, and maybe might try and do a match review for tomorrow's game. So, Harry, thanks very much for that. Brendan and Matt the Frog, obviously Matt, all good. Yeah, look after yourselves all, and
thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for popping on, team. There's a lot of people in the chat now who are actually praying for West Ham for this season, team. So at least that's good news. That's some good news.
If you've made a lot of people turn to faith.
Yeah.
George Michael, there you go.
Niche fan.
Right. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
No, see you Sunday.
Yes.
See you Sunday. Sunday night. Take care.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Night all.
Good night. So, I'm a United fan. I just came to let you know that we've walked away from Baleba and we're considering playing Mount on the midfield against you Sunday. I can't believe it. Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Mason Mount is going to have a Messi-esque season where he scores like 91 goals in a calendar year. Who knows?
It could happen for us. Could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. You might see Gyökeres turn up looking like a Rasmus Højlund. With the weird looking.
What did you sell? I mean, because with Mount, obviously, you could play him in that same position as Fernandes as well, can't you? But do you know what? It was like going back a while ago. I mean, I think it was a team in Saudi, wasn't it, or something like that? 100 million for Fernandes. Why didn't you sell him? Because all these players that you've brought in, and they've cost X amount of £1 million, surely you've got to sell some of these players, obviously, to just keep your books level. They could already be level. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, to sell more, you'd have to. I think you'd have to sell a few players if you want to bring somebody big in, like at least another player before the.
I do think it's something. It's got to be Ruben Amorim that's looked at Fernandes as like, oh, I need a captain's figure in this team, and I don't trust anyone else really. So I think it's sort of he's keeping him around or wants him to stick around a little bit for convenience sake before he sort of really strays off to do his own thing. However, it doesn't go without saying that for a 30-year-old player, that you can pick problems they cause your team, in various aspects. £100 million for a 30-year-old is not a deal you get every day.
No, it's not.
Anywhere near that amount. And the fact is that we've got someone like a Garnacho plotting to be sold at his age for about 30 million to Chelsea.
Exactly,
and it's like, look at the price that everyone else is going. I mean, that was a meal ticket deal right there. So
yeah,
I think it's definitely a part of it is we missed a trick with that. But at the same time, I think it's whatever the manager wants. We sort of have to put faith in that instead of saying, I just think Amorim doesn't know as well as I do with this team. So it's sort of like you kind of have to put a little bit of faith in him to see exactly what this plan more long term is going to be with Fernandes. Because if it just falls flat on its face, then of course he's going to end up losing his job per se. But you never know with these sort of things. A bit like you and Ødegaard, if you got a massive offer for Martin Ødegaard, but Arteta turned it down because he was like, I want to keep him around because I'm most familiar with him or something.
Oh, definitely. He'd turn it down, even if it was 100 million. That Mikel Arteta turn it down. He can't do no wrong. He's Mikel Arteta's blue-eyed boy, Martin Ødegaard. So, but it's like what I said. That's another player who's had a poor season last season, and I've been on his case as well for the shoes and that sort of thing. I think it should be a time now where we should put Mount Weary in there. I honestly do.
Yeah. Take care, usual. Enjoy your
Usual.
weekend. Maybe we'll see you on the chat and Sunday night takeaway show. And everybody saying Big Sam incoming, says McManus Gaming. Good to see you, McManus. And everyone else saying goodbyes to Tony there. We should have sold Bruno to Al Hilal. We absolutely should. I wanted the deal to happen simply because of the opportunity it presented itself.
Yeah.
You know, for literally the sake of a 30-year-old, it's being sold for 100 million. We bought him for about 50. I think about 55 million pound. Like, you don't see that happen in football. You don't see that. It's not like Fernandes became this absolutely, era-defining world-class player that justifies a 100 million pound bid at all. So it's like it's one of those where you sort of scratch your head a little bit until you see who the manager is, and then you think, well, this better work out. This better bloody work out, because if it doesn't, that's egg on your face.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. He's still going to play the is it the 3-4-3? He loves Amarin. He loves to play that formation, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that one of the swords or the hills he's going to die on with that. He'll fall on his sword if it doesn't work out. But I say his 3-4-3 system, and I know that we sort of highlight Ruben Amorim's system. Big ups to Stephanie. Good to see you as always.
Yeah.
A lot of people highlight Amorim's system as, that's the focal point. It doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work. But actually, looking at who else plays back three systems, you've got Wolverhampton Wanderers under their manager. We've seen them play good stuff in the Premier League. We see Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner. They generally have back three systems going with their wing backs.
Mm-hmm.
They're a bit more of a defensive side with that as well. But it is beating teams, and it is doing well. So I think it's probably less of it's a tactical problem here for Ruben, but rather the personnel problem in regards to those tactics.
Yeah.
So I think you look at Crystal Palace, they've got a team that's well set up for a 3-4-3, right? Or
Definitely.
a 3-5-2-1 or something. If that's even possible, probably isn't possible, but nonetheless. And I just feel like perhaps this is where we have to give Ruben the benefit of the doubt, that it's giving him players like Cunha, Sesko, and Mbeumo up top, and then give him another midfielder and a goalkeeper that actually saves shots. You see a better performing United side. You see better tactics at play. You see people clipping up the team and saying, look, this is Ruben ball, this is Amorim ball. You can see the patterns that he's trying to instruct these players to do. Because a lot of times last season, we're sitting here saying these players just aren't, they're just not equipped. And we were saying, well, Ruben Amorim should change for the players. But then it's sort of like it's sort of, you start going back and forth a little bit with these players saying, well, this season we're going to play like this, then we're going to play like that, and then next season we're going to play like that. And these players already, as it is, really struggle with football IQ. A lot of these players really, really struggle. So changing systems more is going to be more of a detriment to a lot of the players in the squad. If you stay consistent with your game plan, the approach, and having a pre-season with some of those players, you can define a lot of player roles a little bit more. So I'm hoping that with the work done this season, aiding or aided by the new acquisitions, that we see a much more recognisable Ruben Amorim Manchester United. And I do feel like we've not done enough business this summer to say we'll definitely get an effective Ruben Amorim Manchester United side. I think there's still more deals to be done there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a feeling similar to that. Well, I say that similar to with Mikel Arteta. I don't think necessarily Arteta is quite the sort of manager that's getting his game plans really hurdle that much.
No. But I think would you lot would obviously because we know that Man United's not in Europe this season, so I think even though it's strange not to have him in Europe, but I think in one way I think he's a bit of a godsend for us because you're going to be concentrating more on the league. There's less chance of players getting injured, obviously because more games you play, obviously more chances you've got of players getting injured as well. But I just feel with you lot, I feel. I mean, you look at last season and compared to this season, and I've actually got you down as 8th this season. I've literally got you down, and that's just being realistic, and that's just being with the players that you've got in at the minute, and not being in Europe. So it's like what I said to I've got friends that's Man United fans. I even said it on shows. If you actually look at a realistic figure and think right, top 8, that's what we want. So if you finish 8th, I think you've done really well, and then that gives you an incentive just to work on something, for next season. But yeah, I just feel with this Samarin because I mean I'd tell you the truth. I was chatting to my brother, and as you know, he's a Man United fan, and he still thinks Samarin's got. He don't think he's the right man for Manchester United. He was telling me that yesterday.
Doesn't think Ruben Amorim's the right man.
No, you don't think he's the right man for Man United.
Well, I suppose this season will probably be a big defining season for that.
Yeah.
I suppose the question's got to be, with the full, as full a backing as a manager can get, you sort of put the onus on the manager. And I personally would like to see that Ruben Amorim gets the team playing better football, because I mean we've seen a Ruben Amorim team, from Portugal, a Portuguese Ruben Amorim side in Sporting Lisbon take on some of the better sides in Europe, and in various cases tactically outclass teams. So it's like it almost begs the question: what's changed between Sporting and here? And people will say, oh, it's just a much tougher league. But I'm thinking, so that Sporting side wouldn't play the same way against a lot of these Premier League teams and play better, outclass some of these teams. It's like last season, we don't really see a United side outclassing anybody. So,
no.
Yeah. We'll never get Belieber now. City will get him. Well, I mean, I suppose if Ineos really badly want the Belieber deal to happen, I think next season next summer is looking like it's going to be the season where Belieber actually makes a transfer move. I suppose Ineos, if they're this hyped up about the player, will be in front of the queue. The conversations that they've had with Brighton, they've probably said, well, we understand you're not going to sell, and we can't realistically afford your player, but we'll revisit this come next season, and we'll see if your stance on the player has changed or if anything else has changed. What's to say Belieber has a bad season for Brighton? What if he just plays really, really bad and comes to January and Brighton are like, we're sick of your shit, Carlos, get out of here. So he end up selling him on a cheap.
Yeah, they definitely will. Definitely will. I think people are going to be in for a shock in a minute. I mean, let's have a look at Liverpool. If they signed that midfielder. You know what? It takes time for a player to gel. To not just actually in the team, but obviously get used to how fast the English Premier League actually really is. So even though on paper they look like they've got a good team, but I mean, like tonight, it's one of those where I feel that he's going to need all this season to get used to what obviously to play well, gel in the system, and do well for the Premier League. I mean, these players coming in, buying them for like 110 million and this, that, and the other. It's not necessarily thinking, oh yeah, he's brilliant. You know, we're going to win the league, this, that, and the other. Honestly, Fuzz, it don't work like that. In my opinion, I mean, we were lucky. Okay, we got Declan Rice for 105 million, but we knew what Declan Rice was like beforehand when obviously playing for West Ham. So and he's Premier League proven. So you know there was no worries there. If anything, we were all excited and all that now. And I mean, to be honest with you, people see us with Gyökeres. Obviously, the eyes are going to be on Gyökeres, obviously for scoring goals, and also is going to be in that midfield with Zubamendi as well. So is knowing that what can he do in the English Premier League? Because obviously Zubamendi is meant to obviously replace the player that's left us. I'm not going to say his name first. I refuse to say his name, right? But that and he's meant to replace him. And obviously they're saying Norgard is obviously to replace Jorginho, which obviously because we didn't have that much depth last season, we're getting players in now to gradually fill the spaces in, like obviously with a bit of depth in that. But I mean, I feel. Do you know what? I feel that we can most probably make one more signing, but if we made one more, if it's a big signing, a really big signing, I could see one of our centre backs leaving, obviously out of either Gabriel or Saliba, because at the minute, those are the players that's actually worth the money. It's them two, because we don't sell Saka. There's no way. You're not yet anyway. So,
Yeah. Stephanie Griffith says, question to both. If you could take a draw right now, would you take it? I wouldn't, personally. I think, as you said, with the league focus for United, the onus is on getting as many wins as possible.
Yeah.
Because there's no European competition to bump up your league finish at the end of the season. There's none of that. It's where you finish in the league outright. You can't use other competitions to bail you out, barring the FA Cup. So, all the Carabao Cup, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, if the game was to finish a draw for us, I mean, okay, it's a 1-1 draw. It's an Old Trafford.
Yeah.
We've both got a point. But, I mean, in all fairness, and I'm not being horrible when I say this, but from a Man United perspective, it would feel better for you lot than what it will for us, But
I think it's perhaps that context in how the game's gone, like how the teams have played. If it's a genuinely really tough contest and both teams actually played well, I could say right, well, a draw's a fair result.
Yeah,
I can't be unhappy with that. Of course, you always get that slight sinking feeling of not winning, but at the end of the day, you can't say, well, I'm angry because we didn't win because we let ourselves down with this, or we didn't do as much in that part of the game. Or if you finish a game drawing with that net positive, it circumvents in a much more positive light. So completely agree with you. We have not, I'm actually saying, not done anywhere enough business. I think both of our clubs. United need a functional midfield. Quartet, flashy flicks and moments won't cut it again this season. Talking about Bruno Fernandes. And I mean, I suppose that sort of concurs what the plan is with the midfield now that if Baleba's off the table. I mean, they did this with Agate last season, by the way. They did this with Agate. It was like the 5th of August. It was reported that United were going to walk away from the Agate deal. And then I think it's either 24th or 27th of August. Here we go with Agate.
Yeah.
And that's 2-0. But,
I mean, with one of your players you've got now, who do you think roughly could still alter his value? I know he was injured, but what's that defender you bought? Was it Yoro?
Yeah, Lenny Yoro.
Yeah. So, I feel that, if he was to go, then, but Liverpool just scored 2-0. Cody Gakpo.
Is that Uncle Rod's calling you?
Yeah, no. In all fairness, that was my brother. That was calling me. That was my brother. But yeah, it's But yeah, I mean, I think he's, I think he could be a good player. He's definitely one for the future, and because I think he was,
Mm.
what was he, 50 odd million?
I think it was a package deal of 50 million, but
Yeah,
we've done what we've done with a lot of our signings under Ineos is stagger payments. So it's it, on this season's books, this summer's books, it looks actually really small fees per player,
yeah.
but then it's just you're paying it over and over for like coming seasons. So
So yeah. But I tell you what, first, it's going to be a good game, no matter what. I mean, obviously with whoever you're going to start with,
that's
your starting lineup, and whoever we're going to. The problem is that I've got with this game is up front is striker, because knowing Mikel Arteta, I feel
Havertz opening day.
Havertz. Yes, no,
Knockered
I
on the
really do.
bench.
I really do. I for some particular reason, I think that might happen still. I really do.
Watch him do an absolute madness and put Madueke.
Oh God, what for Saka?
Yeah, eighth would be a miracle with this midfield, quite possibly. Um, yeah, I reckon there's maybe a plan B up the sleeve for Ineos because I know that there's midfielders like the Danish bloke from Sporting Lisbon that Amarin had played for him, and he's quite well adapted to the transitional style of play. So could end up going with him. Ederson's still on the market. That's another player that Ineos are fairly fond of. I think Adam Wharton is another name that clubs are talking about in recent times. So who
Yeah.
knows? There's probably a plan B somewhat up the sleeve. So hopefully we see. Oh Jesus, that could have been a screamer. Those brothers are real Herberts. Knee slapper words. Knee slapper. Frog picked up £2 lump hammer. A cold chisel from Bandicoot about 12 years ago and just kept doing it. Talking about Minecraft. I am Titanium. Big ups to you. How are we doing? Hope all is good with you.
Big up.
But he has to go this window. He's a £120 million player on 16k a week. Surely he's pushing his agent for him this summer. Well, I suppose he's probably speaking to his agent like, well, I suppose we could leverage that against Brighton and say, well, the offers in terms of contracts are better from all of these other clubs or these other suitors. So, I would like to discuss the potential opportunity of leaving this summer if I can. But one thing that I've seen with Baleba so far this season is he's not necessarily, he doesn't look like a sort of player that's going to start striking if he doesn't get his way. So I reckon he'd probably be a sort that's happy enough to stick for one season before he properly pushes his way out the door.
Yeah.
Talking of Saul. The banned customers bringing in printers and desktop computers and room dividers. The coffee shop's the new office now, guys. Why would you take a printer into Starbucks? I'd take a coffee machine into Starbucks and pick a corner and start making my own coffee. And say, proceeds over here as well.
Costa one.
Yeah, take a Costa sponsored one. Get somebody in Costa coffee uniform as well. Stick a spiked club behind them on a wall mount so that the staff of Starbucks are a bit too afraid to come over to tell them to piss off. Just my portable AC bank cup. Costas now and again. Other coffee shops are available. Cafe Nero's is pricey, but good.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, do recommend the Nero's app though, because they'll occasionally get get a saving, get a free coffee
Mm.
after a little while. So, but anyways, we'll probably wrap up the show with a quick score predictions for Sunday. What are you thinking? How are you thinking this game's gonna finish up?
I think it's going to be a good game. You know, I think it's going to be end-to-end stuff. I don't think it's going to be a real big scoreline. It never really is open day of the season, especially when it's like Man United versus Arsenal. So,
6-1 to
I,
United.
Pep means 6 months. No, I don't think it'd be that. I'll be honest with you. If I was I'm gonna have to go for my own team, and I would go 2-1 Arsenal. But
Mm,
obviously, it depends on the starting lineups of what is going to be there. I mean, obviously, I know Raya being goal, Skelly left back,
mm,
Saliba, Gabriel. The only one that I'm thinking of is right back. Is sometimes, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like Timber, but I seem to like Ben White as well. I think Ben White's got that more to offer going forward because he links quite well up with Saka on the right. So obviously, you know, and the midfield for me, it most probably be Declan Rice, Odegaard, and Mendy with Saka on the left. Who else? I think he might go Martin. Sorry, Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and I would
mm.
like to see Gyökeres up front, but I could just see it being Havertz for some reason. Don't know why.
Gyökeres 5 goals. He struggled even in Portugal to get 4 goals in a game. Pepsi.
Yeah,
Say 5 goals in the Prem. It'll be shite, says Harry Monk. He went with a 0-0. I think it will be a 3-2 to United. I think, as how I've mentioned earlier in the show, that I think there's two different worlds for the two teams. There's Arsenal that will play this complicated Arteta football and
yeah,
still sort of trying to strike gold with how they're playing or getting the new players bedded in. So I think it might be a little bit sluggish or a little bit off key performance wise. And generally, we don't see teams properly hit their stride until, say, third or fourth game of the season. So
yeah,
I'd probably say with Arsenal, and not just that, but I think opening game of the season for Arsenal, especially in away fixtures, if it's a big team, they don't necessarily do well in opening
yeah,
game of the seasons unless it's a home game against a reasonable opposition. They do tend to struggle.
yeah.
So yeah, I think with Man United, it's just more focused on hitting counter attacks, just focus on fast transition, and with I'm hoping that the starting lineups will have all three, Cunha, Sesko, and Mbeumo up top. It'll be intriguing to see if we go really offensive with Amad Diallo, maybe alternating on the wing back position, because I know Ryan Mbeumo has got some good defensive work rate, so maybe there's an idea that he also plays a little bit of wing back
Yeah.
position there as well.
Yeah.
I suppose midfield, people might say Bruno and Casemiro. I'm not really fond of somebody who doesn't really defend in Bruno, and then somebody who's a little bit slow in Casemiro.
Yeah.
If Casemiro plays, either Garcia or Kobe Mino has to play as well. If it's
Yeah.
Bruno, you can't have Casemiro in there. There's got to be somebody that's with a bit more pace in that midfield, bit more wherewithal, and yeah, goalkeeper Anana sadly is fit. Sadly, tragically, shambolically. Um, but yeah, the plan B is not really all that much better, so I'd imagine Anana's going to end up playing. Back three, probably going to consist of Delict. Probably Maguire's going to feature in there, and perhaps Lenny Yoro.
Yeah.
Either
Not
Lenny
Martinez then.
Yoro. Martin is not that far away from returning. Like
Yeah.
he is back in the training ground. So He's not far away at all. So actually, it'll probably be quite good to see him back involved in the team a little bit more. It'll be a 2-1 United win. So it's Titanium. Let me have a token on that, please. Doesn't?
Well, there's a lot of people saying United in the chat tonight.
Stride, third or fourth game, clearly not a hammer. You hit your stride about the 38th game of the season. The stride leaving the stadium to get to a pub to drink your sorrows away.
Yeah.
Cheers, gentlemen. Great show. Chat. Much love as always. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for tuning in, Harry. Good to see you.
Yeah, see you, Harry. Have a nice one.
Fantastic weekend. Have a fantabulous weekend, everyone. Absolutely. And extend that courtesy to everybody else in the chat. Last question here for Anthony. Do you think Raya score a goal this season? He's coming in further out every game.
God bloody hell! I wish. Do you know what? I think he might be even though he is a good goalkeeper, but I just feel Mikel Arteta tells him to come out of his box all the time. It's like, why do you want to keep coming out of your box? That's what's going to cost Arsenal this year. Even though I don't think they're going to win it, but I think that's what will cost Arsenal. And unfortunately, he's going to be in a cup game if we get far in a cup. It could be a Champions League, an FA Cup, whatever. But yeah, I think he might cost us a game, and we sadly go out of the cup.
Do you reckon it's because he keeps booting it long? So if Raya's further up the pitch, there's no reason for him to boot it long because he only needs to pass it 5 yards.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we're better off playing in midfield first. Play him in that cam position.
It's a bit like Zinchenko. Can't play him at left back. He's not a good defender. Just might as well play him in midfield.
Midfield, exactly. Yeah.
Stick Kepa as your goalkeeper and play Raya as your midfielder.
Midfield, yeah. But hopefully, I think there is competition there. I mean, Kepa did really well last season on the Bournemouth. So, you know, I feel that if there's a bit of competition there, I mean, Kepa might be happy to be number 2, but I mean, that nothing stops him fighting for that first position. You know, Arsenal, and even though both of them for Spain as well. So, you know.
Star London, good to see you, mate. Hope all's good with you. We're just about to wrap things up.
I'm his one and only fan. He Lone Star. He loves me. He's good at that Lone Star.
He cost us the Spurs friendly.
Yeah, he did. He did cost us that for me as well. Yeah.
He might cost you the Spurs unfriendly too. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Has been a blast seeing everybody, and hope everybody has a splendid weekend as football has well and truly returned. Unfortunately for us lot, it's a Liverpool 2-0 lead at the moment. So unless Liverpool learn a special lesson from Spurs in the Super Cup, I don't see this game really going any other way. Hopefully the football results improve in United's case over the weekend. But thanks for tuning in, everybody, and big thank yous for Anthony Herbert joining us on this show, as well as Tony from Hammers Football TV. And make sure that you do like and subscribe to all channels. My channel.
He's gone. Fuck him. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, who needs to? But real talk. But real talk. Big ups to everybody. Make sure you're subscribing to Hot Buzz 44 OG. It is 2-1. Semenyo has got that goal on the breakaway. And plenty of time left in the game. They're trying to go for a counter attack. So Bournemouth. Maybe they've heard me. They've heard me.
They most probably heard you. But that was a player that you was after, Man United.
I think actually quite a few clubs. I think Tottenham as well. I can't remember who else it was. I don't think Arsenal were linked to him.
No, we went after him. It's a shame because he's got. He's an ex-Bristol City player as well.
I'll tell you what's happened there. Everyone else is playing a higher line, but Virgil van Dijk has played everyone on side again. Oh no!
Yeah.
See, he's going to be a liability. Watch out for Virgil van Dijk.
I think he is.
He will be a liability for Liverpool.
He's more slow. He's going to get slower this season, I reckon.
Yeah, community shield settings as well. But
Exactly.
yeah, big ups to everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone has a splendid weekend, and we are out of here. No outro music because otherwise Tont's channel will probably get sniped. So yeah. Ciao for now, people. The most copyrights protected content ever.